My name is Gafford. I am an associate pastor at Monte Vista Church of the Nazarene, and I'm also the AZNYI president.
My name is Shannon Gafford, and I was this year's AZNYI camp director.
Well, I'm Trevor, Cherryholmes. I'm a youth pastor at Tempe Nazarene Church.
So my favorite fun memory actually involves my senior year at Camp Pine Rock for district camp. And my husband and I at the time, or not at the time, we were dating only a couple months, but it was my 18th birthday, and he wanted to surprise me with 18 roses. So he went out and got them, stored them in the refrigerator where they froze and died. But he didn't know what to do, so they decided to still give me the roses in front of all of the campers and proceeded to ask me to dance for them. I did not agree to dance for the dead roses, but that was my favorite fun memory in camp.
Just people all around the altars praying to the point where you're trying to walk through them, walk over them, and get to them so you can pray with them, but it's just so jam-packed with people praying and praying for others. It's probably the most powerful memory that I have when I think of camp.
Super recent, just Wednesday night at Movement Camp 2019, we did cardboard testimonies with all of the adults on stage, and just to see all of the hurts and pains and struggles and everything that our leadership has gone through, but then also been able to overcome, was really cool. And then to see the response of the students who are going through the exact same things that we went through, or maybe even worse, but they were able to relate, and we really knocked down a lot of great walls that were holding kids back.
I'm one of those people that camp changed my life in the sense that that's exactly where I received my call to ministry.
I also received my call into ministry at camp.
It was summer of 2008. Craig Coulter was the speaker. At that camp was the time that I felt my call to ministry.
I remember my counselor just telling me at the time, are you going to fight this, or are you just going to accept it that God's calling you to ministry? And sure enough, went down to the altar, and next thing you know, I'm being prayed over by people that I looked up to, who were mentors to me.
It was actually a camp meeting. We were having just one of the youth services, and afterwards we went down to the amphitheater and had a bonfire. And it was at that moment that God solidified that I was called to be a pastor's wife.
Wednesday night, we're sitting there, and well, I guess I was sitting there. The rest of the congregation was standing and jumping around and praising, and I just felt this tug that I couldn't walk away from. I couldn't stand to just celebrate with everyone else without going down to the altar there. And I'm down crying my eyes out for no reason because I don't understand, and just wrestling with what the emotion is inside my heart, and finally coming down to the conclusion, I feel God's calling me to ministry. And as I was able to actually physically say that, kind of the weight was lifted off my shoulders. I realized I was surrounded by so many of my friends and mentors, and at that point Nate Snyder was right next to me, asked me, why are you crying? And I said, I think it's because I'm called to ministry. And he laughed and I laughed because Nate was in the process of doing that as well.
It's never gone away. It's something that's my origin story, basically, is at camp I was called to ministry.
That's probably the biggest moment of my life at camp.
Every year it seems they're making it better and better, but I've also seen a renewed commitment to the youth, and because of how much my life changed through camps and camp meeting and all that was provided to me when I was young, knowing that camp is still committed to our young people, it brings so much joy to me that we have that place.
Oh man, over the last decade, it's been crazy how we've improved just the facilities of the camp, from being so hot and sweaty in a service in the middle of the summer for youth camps, to being able to relax in air conditioning within the tabernacle. Crazy. The boys' bathrooms in Lion's dorm. I just remember not wanting to shower because they were so gross, but I felt so gross that I had to shower, and so it was this back and forth. The improvements across campus have been awesome. And I know it might sound silly, but having the pool on campus has really changed the way that we do camps.
Well, I think we would all agree that the camp has never looked better. The new bigger dorms, the Lions Dens, Bluebird is fantastic. It's really a cool campground to go to. And I would say, when I was a kid, you go to campground and there was things that you just took for granted, and you just assumed that, yeah, this is the way it is. But now it's something that I love taking people up to Pine Rock. I love to show them the facilities that we have, because a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears have gone into those renovations, and it's absolutely fantastic. So as a district president, we meet with other districts and talk about their camp plans, and they don't have a place to call home. They don't have the memories like we have growing up on this district. They have to go and find camps to have their youth and kids camps. And so what I hope is that going forward for camp, I hope our district embraces this camp. And this last year, we had over 30 churches at our camp, which for youth, that is way more than we've ever had before. And the funny thing is that some of our larger churches weren't even there. And so imagine if our camp was bigger. Imagine if our district embraced our campground in the sense that they made a commitment that any kid that wanted to go to camp was going to be at camp. No matter what the price, they were going to help get them there. It could be powerful.
Really just the continued commitment to youth. I think that there are always life changes that take place there. And we have seen a multitude of students come to Christ there at Camp Pine Rock. And I think if you talk to a lot of people in our district, they receive their calls right there at camp. And by providing that environment, we're investing in our youth.
Something that we've already found a little bit of success with is our camps. We had 31 churches represented at camp this year, which doubled from just the year prior. And so if we can continue to have more and more churches represented on the campgrounds, and I don't know if that means changing our prices or continuing to improve things so that it's more attractive, but I would like to see 65 churches represented in the future at a youth camp, and I think that's a possibility.